So before we get into this video, I want you guys to know that timestamps should be down below.
Disclaimer, this is just for fun. Like, if you guys know me in real life, you guys know I'm obsessed with like astrology and things like that, and this is just my personal experience with like people of like different signs. I'm just basing this on my personal experiences so far. So, the first sign that we are going to be looking into, sorry, I just got my coffee here.
So the first sign we're going to be looking into is Aries, which is the first sign of the Zodiac. Ow, sorry, I just hit my laptop. Like, generally speaking, most of the Aries that I have personally come in contact with are actually really like intensely driven individuals with like high goals and like I just think that's like really admirable. It's kind of interesting because they're like sort of dynamic personalities. Like they can sort of create a niche for themselves if they really put their minds to it. Like for example, Lady Gaga, I think she's an Aries. I might be wrong, but Lady Gaga, Mariah Carey, like they're very different. I think every Aries is like I think every Aries is like extremely different, but if they wanted, they can create a huge niche for themselves. That's a good point. A bad point about Aries that I've come across is probably that they can be very blunt. But this obviously varies from person to person. Natal chart, the whole jazz, check that out. But they can oftentimes be really blunt, like Leo, for example. Leo is also a fire sign, but I think Leos are a little bit nicer than Aries, but Aries, I think this can just stem from their sort of impulsive nature, and they just need to feel right about things. Like Aries just need to feel right about things. But the Aries that I personally come across, the thing is, I haven't had a lot of experience with Aries, so this is clearly very like, it's not accurate at all. It's not like, and obviously everyone's different and things like that. But yeah, for Aries, I would have to say that they're extremely driven individuals, but they can be extremely rude sometimes, like blunt. And I don't think they might mean it. I don't know. I think that they really do think that they could be in the right about certain things. But that's fine because they are cardinal fire, which is a reactionary sign, and they're kind of like natural born leaders. So the next sign of the Zodiac is the Taurus, which is an earth sign fixed and represented by the bull. If it's represented by the bull, I think we all know that these people, okay, my sister is a Taurus, and a lot of the people in my life that I don't like are Taurus. I love my sister though, but like a lot of, the thing is like, it's weird for me because every time I like meet someone, I like them and stuff, but then they'll do something and I'll be like, oh my god, why? And then I'll find out they're a Taurus, and I'm like, I don't understand why I don't like, I just, like, I don't think, there's a couple Tauruses I think I've gotten along with, but the majority of them I really don't. I think maybe it's because of their stubborn nature, and my sign is very flexible. That might be it. Like, Tauruses are very, like, I think this is a good thing, but, like, they're very, like, loyal. That could be a good point. Like, stemming from their stubborn nature, they're very sort of loyal about their like commitments, their opinions, the people they let into their lives. They are very loving. I do think that can be their downfall because they do, like, if they trust someone, they really trust them, and then if they get screwed over, it's like end of the world. I do think they can be a bit lazy though. I'm just thinking of all the Tauruses in my life. I don't think I've met a single one that isn't lazy to some extent. Yeah, they're kind of lazy. I will say though, they do kind of, majority of the majority of the people I've met that are Taurus, they do exude a sort of calm, serene type of energy, and I think that's a really good thing actually. Like, they're really practical as well, but they do really like materialist. I think they can be quite materialistic. I think they just like the nicer things. I don't know. It might be wrong, but I do think they can be really pessimistic at times though. I definitely don't think they're the sort of positive sign. I think they can be very pessimistic if they want to be. Like, if they don't want to be positive, they can go to an extreme length of pessimism. So next we have Gemini, we have Gemini, which is the best sign of the zodiac. Yes, if you did comment down below Gemini, I am a Gemini. So, air sign, mutable, twins, represented by the twins, so that can sort of be a sort of Jekyll and Hyde personality, like the split personality thing we have going on, which is so true, by the way. Like we can, I genuinely think we can like switch our personalities based on like who we're talking to. And like, I don't know, I think one of the reasons people hate Geminis, and I can attest to this because I do this a lot, I play devil's advocate so much, like unnecessarily amounts. Like, I could not agree with like a certain point, but then I'll, just to piss someone off, I'll be like, oh, but like I can see why they're like being like xenophobic. I'm joking. No, I mean, no, like we're the worst for that. Devil's advocacy, like that. I think people hate us because of that. I do think because we're Geminis, it's kind of hard for us to focus our attention on one thing at a time, and that's definitely one of my weakest points. I like cannot focus on one thing at a time. I think that's why a lot of people are like, Geminis are cheats. I mean, I think, like, aside from me, let's take me out of this equation. A lot of my Gemini friends do talk to like multiple people at a time, so might be true. I do think they're so Geminis are kind of oversharers. I do this a lot. I just share too much about my life for no reason. So Geminis are very much oversharers, kind of like Sagittarius is. I think Geminis and Sagittarius, that's because they're sister signs, I think. But Geminis and Sagittarius, I think they really overshare on social media. But with Geminis, on their Finsta is like the side that, like, if you don't know what Finsta is, it's like a private Instagram for like close friends. I have one. They definitely overshare on their like private medias. I think if they let you in and they let you see that side of them, I think that's a really big thing, because oftentimes it's like, for example, there'll be Jekyll in person. I forgot which one was good, which one was bad. There'll be like one or the other. There'll be like a Jekyll in real life to like everyone, and then to like close family friends there'll be like a Hyde. But then it also depends on like who's there. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is dependent on which side of them, the good or the bad side, they let out. But if they let the good side out of them, they can be prone to a lot of optimism. But if they let the bad side out of them, like severe depression, like they can be prone to a lot of anxiety, and their energy can deplete because they're so like talkative and like yappy. I'm like that. Like when I was younger, like I would, my mom told me when I was like literally a baby, I would like sit and just yap away in my own little language like for hours. Like no one would be listening to me. I'd just be talking like in my own little language. Even when I was like, even now, like I like asking a lot of questions to people. Like I like to like just talk. And like I think one of Gemini's pet peeves is probably like when people don't let them talk. Like if people just talk about themselves and you don't like let Geminis talk, it's like they're easy. I was actually asking a friend what her opinion on Geminis are, because I didn't want this to be very biased. But she said like they were like clever, that we're like clever and witty and easy to talk to, which I think is true. I think I do definitely think we're easy to talk to and stuff. So they made it sweeter than usual. I don't really like this. So the next sign we have is Cancer. I think Cancers are very motherly, very kind, caring. Most of the Cancers that I know usually will be the type of people that will like message me to ask if I'm like good, if I'm okay. I think it's mainly the water signs that will do that. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but they'll like, you know, reach out. They'll be like, are you good? So because they're represented by the crab, I think during like any type of conflict, and I have actually been in an argument with a Cancer before, they'll go into their shell like a crab goes into its shell. and it's just to avoid sort of conflict, things like that. Whether it's outer conflict like with another person or even inner conflict like a heartbreak, they will tend to retreat within themselves. They tend to be really sus of others, like suspicious. Like all the Cancers I've met, they tend to be really like, they tend to question people's motives a lot. I do think that they can play victim very often. I think like almost all the Cancers I know, they will play victim. They will be in the wrong and then they'll be like, you know what, I'm the victim, like this person was wrong, but it'll be them. And then you're just like, Like Taurus, they are sort of prone to the more pessimistic side of things. So that's not great. With the water signs, it's like they tend to like really like likes people, but like they also can be kind of manipulative. I don't know. Whatever. So next. Next we have Leo, which is a fixed fire sign. Because they're fixed, I think they can be very dominating, but their views and opinions and a lot of things like that. I think Leos, Scorpios, and Geminis, I think those are the most hated signs, with Gemini and Scorpio being like top. But Leos, I don't know, I think they're very passionate. I also don't think that they have a lot of self-doubt. I think it's hard for them to go into like depression, and if they do, it'll be because of some insane drama. Leos are very, very optimistic about themselves, about their lives, about their future a lot of the time. Obviously, everyone has their own bumps. It's not linear. Next, we have Virgo. Like, personally speaking, based on like all the Virgos that I've met in my life, I get along with them great as friends. I think as friends, they're amazing. They're very nitpicky. They're very, if you didn't know, Beyonce's a Virgo, and she's very like, it needs to be perfect and things like that. So they're very nitpicky. Of Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, I think Virgos are probably the least visionary. Like, I don't know, I think that they sometimes self-sabotage like their own lives because they don't think that this can happen when it very much can. They're very loyal, very mother-like, very reliable. I think if you have a Virgo as a friend, they will be really like they will be the types to like defend you when you're not around. I think they're awesome friends. Like, I don't know, I think Virgos have a really hard time trusting people. Like, fully trusting people. I don't think they let a lot of people know what's like actually going on in their lives if they are going through something. So